After talking to so many hustlers that are entrepreneurs, or at least claim to be, I've realized one thing, and that's that it's easier to talk about hustling than to actually work and bust your ass off and do what it takes to get to where the Hermosis are at, the Gary V's, the big successful entrepreneurs on YouTube. It's easier to talk about being this person that you claim to be rather than just being transparent and busting your ass and working on the computer or working on the job site or working whatever your business is. It's harder to do that. It's harder to actually go through the process of success, you can call it, or the entrepreneurship journey. Most people aren't willing to go through that, which is why, to my point, it's easier to talk about hustle than to actually experience it. Because let's be honest, real hustlers don't need to talk about all the shit that they're doing to anyone because they don't have to prove anything to anyone. Which is why when people talk to me about, oh, I'm a hustler and this and that, and I grind every fucking day, and they just keep going on and on about their grind and their grit and their hustle, I can see right through that. And it makes me think, you're talking a lot, but what have you actually done? Because you're not talking to me about results. So I have come to find, I've learned that the people that talk the most typically aren't the ones that are most effective in action and in discipline. And that's why I rather move in silence than to cry wolf to everybody that you're gonna fucking make it and that, oh, once you make it we all make it type shit. Look, at the end of the day, hustle doesn't need to be justified. Okay, grit doesn't need to be justified. You just do it. All right, it's like walking. You don't have to prove to anyone that you can walk, you just do it. And you better learn how to walk before you can run, because if you're talking about all this and that, proving yourself that you think you got it just because you're talking about it, people will look will look down on you, and you'll lose all credibility instantly, like that. Because hustlers recognize hustlers and they don't need to talk about it to prove themselves. Now, one thing that I've come to realize is that in most cases, it's easier to be that person that talks about it rather than actually going through the process. In fact, it's even harder to go through the process and stay silent at the same time because you want to tell people about what you're doing, but in some cases, you're going through it so bad in your journey. You may be finding a lot of failures, you may be losing it all, but it's hard to stay silent sometimes. And in most cases, you want to reach out for help. So, the people that claim to have it all, or the people that claim to always figure it out themselves, I wouldn't believe those people for shit, because at the end of the day, you can't do it all yourself. There's a thing called leverage, and leverage revolves around either other people's time, other people's money, other people's effort. It revolves around someone else or something else helping you achieve that goal that you're going for, or maybe it's a milestone. So, at the end of the day, the solopreneur is going to need some help at some point, because if you think you're a legitimate business, yet you're a solopreneur, really you're not a business, you're just self employed, therefore, you have a better paying job that you have more control of. And the boss isn't the boss at a job, the boss is your clients, right? And the people that pay you, because they may be calling you up telling you what to do. So, if there's no leverage in your workflow, let's say employees, let's say AI, right? Since we're now in the AI revolution, if there's no leverage of any kind, good luck, because doing it all yourself is going to turn you into a chicken with his head cut off. Let's be honest. Because if one can do it all themselves, there wouldn't be such thing as a CEO, a CFO, right? CMO. There wouldn't be such thing as executive teams in big companies. How would McDonald's do it all by themselves? There's no way. How would Apple, Nike, all these big brands, how would they do it all themselves? So even if you're not trying to go to that extreme in business, let's just say you're wanting to do some crazy numbers that might be out of your league right now. Well, at the end of the day, it's going to take leverage because one can't do it all. You can only do so much, and even if you have AI and everything helping you, you can only get so far. And things may change in the next few years where AI is the new team, where AI is the new leverage, the new CEO. We will get to that point, no doubt about it. Now, as of 2025, June 4th, right? Because June 3rd, but it's about to be June 4th. It's 11:24 p.m. It's going to change everything as far as having leverage in a company. There will be companies doing $1 million plus with just AI. No doubt about it. However, if you don't have the capacity or the capability of knowing how to use AI to be able to use massive leverage, then you will never have that leverage. So just because AI exists doesn't mean that you have leverage, because let's be honest, yes, you can use ChatGPT, yes, you can use Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, all these AI softwares, but that is just surface level. That is very, very surface level. At the end of the day, it goes way deeper than using those things. ChatGPT, Perplexity, all of these things like Gemini by Google, that is just surface level. And even me myself am learning this as I go with my journey, because I'm documenting everything along the way. And the reason I'm doing that so that I can leverage my journey. And how am I going to leverage my journey? Well, by letting others know that, hey, look, I was in this position. Now I'm here. This is the progress I've made. That is me leveraging my story so that I have to do less talking. When I show a video or when I have a whole documentation, right, the whole process, the whole journey documented, I have to do less talking now. I could do less talking if I want to, because at the end of the day, they can see it for themselves. They can see that, hey, I started off, living in a car and on the street, no money, lost a job, lost the car I was living in, and literally lost everything. So I don't have to keep repeating that over and over and over again, because now I have the whole journey documented. Now that's my way of leveraging my journey. And why would I be leveraging my journey? Because at the end of the day, people resonate with transparency. They generate with you having a journey, with you being in the position that they are. Let's say you're making $100,000 a year, right? And you're talking to someone that's barely making 40 a year. 40K a year compared to 100,000 a year is more than double. So rather than the person that's making $100,000 a year trying to convince the other person, trying to connect with them and saying, hey, look, I was in your position and this and that, rather than doing that, why not just demonstrate your journey because you documented it on video, which is the highest form of proof that there can be. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. A picture says more than 1,000 words. Sorry. A picture says more than 1,000 words. I believe video says more than 1,000,000 words, because it's motion, because a video can demonstrate what happened through a period of time, which is why people connect and relate with movies so much, because they see it happening. They see the motion of scene after scene after scene and the storyline, how it forms together. So at the end of the day, my point is leverage your journey as much as possible. If you're not at the level that the gurus or the big influencers are at, they're leveraging teams, they're leveraging so much AI, and they're so innovative with things, right? And you may not be at that level yet. However, one thing that you can leverage is your journey, just like I'm doing right now. Now, make sure that you're as transparent as possible, because that is going to connect with the right people, and it's going to connect you with the people that need to follow you, the people that need to learn from you, at least in the beginning. Obviously, you start scaling, you don't want to just attract everyone and everyone. But in the beginning, when you have nothing, you might as well leverage your journey that you're already going through, because time is passing by, whether you're asleep, whether you're awake, whether you're taking a nap, whether you're out doing fuck off, whatever it is, time is ticking. Time is passing by whether you like it or not. So you might as well leverage the journey and leverage the moment that you're going through by documenting it. That way later on the compound effect kicks in, and you don't have to do so much talking because it's on video. And you can just be like, look at my journey, it's on YouTube. Take a look at that. Once you look at that, let me know if you relate to me, or let me know if you connect with me, because I don't need to prove anything to you. The proof is all on, let's say, YouTube or wherever you keep your videos, right? Leverage the journey as you're going through it, because at this point in my life, I got to make sure I document everything, because there will be a moment in time where I'm shining bright and I figured it out. And I'm not saying I don't got nothing figured out right now, but we're going to be at a point in life someday, very close to it. We're going to be at a point in life very soon where I finally crack the code. I finally figure it out. And I'm going through the journey myself right now. However, doesn't mean it's easy. It may be simple in terms of this is what you got to do for a long period of time, staying consistent. Whoever lasts longest wins. It may be easier said than done. However, I'm not saying it's easy. Just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy. Keep that in mind.